The self-analysis of a romance writer. As I began this project of writing This Ain't Love for the NaNoWriMo 2021 challenge, I'm finding that I'm falling into some of my old habits, some of the things that I've preached against and I've conditioned myself against. So I think I'm getting a little rusty and a little comfortable in my writing. As I've been writing, I find that my dialogue isn't vibrant. It isn't it isn't distinct for each character. I'm realizing that it sounds too similar, and within that dialogue, I'm not incorporating movement and expression, and it seems like it's coming from the same character and not distinct differences between the two characters or three characters or whoever's on the scene at the time. Usually when I write dialogue, I consider it or I think of it as a ping pong game where I say one sentence or one a dialogue expression, and then uh, I'll get the response from the other character. So it's kind of ping pong, back and forth. And I try to make it spontaneous and I try to make it original. But I feel that I'm a little out of sorts. I think that my writing muscles are a little weak right now because I've been doing so much and not concentrating as completely and wholly on writing as I should. Another thing that I'm finding out is, or I've forgotten, is that with each time that you edit your script or your story, you will add a new layer of description and information to that paragraph or that chapter or that section of writing that you're working on. And I'll give you an example. When I wrote the first two chapters of This Ain't Love for NaNoWriMo, I wrote it first and tried not to pause, just tried to get it all out. And then when I got that chapter finished, I went back and I just read it to try to remind myself of what I'd written. And in doing so, I started correcting misspelled words, but I also started adding to it, like things that occurred to me now that hadn't occurred to me the first time around. So I truly love editing for so many reasons. One, you can go back and add a layer, and each time you edit, each edit revision, you'll add another layer, or you may take away something, or you may say, I said that same thing twice. I don't need to be redundant. Let me take that out. I also like the fact that it familiarizes you once more with the scene, but it also gives you a clearer picture. You start seeing the scene within your eyes or within your head. So you see where the characters are standing. You see what's behind the characters, what's in front of the characters. You see their facial expression. So each time you write, you get a more vivid image in your mind. And for me, when I write, it's like there's a screen or a movie screen playing within my head, and I see the scenes. And I've conditioned myself over the years to do that. Another thing I want to mention in writing is that I was watching The Vanishing Son with my brother, and I mentioned a video earlier about the importance of working on your craft. And in listening to and watching that movie in its Vanishing One, the first movie, I was excited about the dialogue. I was like, now that's real writing. That's real dialogue. It's not a lot of shows that I get excited about, but I love the dialogue. I love the premise of the story. I love the banter back and forth between the characters. The movie has such substance, and it was a cast of diverse characters. And what I liked also is that it was a multicultural cast, and it was an Asian man, Russell Wong, who was the lead, the love interest. He and Chi Mui Lo, as well as Stephanie Netznik. I hope I said her name right. Nezik, pardon me. Anyway, I love the casting. There was a man who portrayed himself as a black Vietnamese. Where do you see that at? Where? So this movie intrigued me on so many levels. It excited me on so many levels. It made me realize the things that I need to work on in my own writing. And it helped me to realize that You have to be careful of stereotypes, because that's a pitfall that writers fall into. They use a lot of stereotypical like dialogue or scenes, or one thing I've heard a lot of writers talk about is people begin their stories at the beginning of the day, and usually they begin their stories with the character looking in the mirror at the character's self and then describing what the character sees in himself. And they're like, that doesn't really work because the character knows what he looks like. If you have him looking in the mirror, it has to be for a specific reason other than you needing to describe to your readers what he looks like. There's other ways to incorporate the description of your character and what they look like through your writing, through the narrative, through the dialogue, through the comments that other people may say about the characters. There's so many ways that you can describe and accurately present the image of your character to your audience. So I just wanted to get on here and just praise the Vanishing Son. I was trying to figure out who wrote the screenplay, and the closest thing I could come up with was the creator, who was Rob Cohen. So I'm assuming, but I can't prove, that he wrote the screenplay as well as created the show. But I'm interested in studying his work. I also read that he directed The Fast and Furious. He has a long list of titles that he's been involved with, both movie and television. So thank you again for joining me on my platform. As always, love, peace, joy, and happiness. I truly, truly appreciate the opportunity to present what I love, which is my writing, to you. And I hope it is helpful and it allows you to achieve what you want as far as writing goes.